Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, buongiorno, buonasera, dzień dobry, dobry wieczór, jak va? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. Jay Slater case. Video two of the day. Video one of the day was actually outside and the audio was not great. Back inside now, and this is going to be a bits and pieces. Sorry, let me straighten that out. A bits and pieces video. Catch up on a few things I've already reported on and not at all what I planned. It is a holiday weekend. I think the name of it is the Assumption Day. It's a Catholic thing in Spain and in France. So Mrs. Smith and I will be enjoying it to the full, needless to say. And that's why I'm a bit off with the videos. I am really off with the emails. Sometimes I get about 100 a day, and it's very hard. I read every one of them. I don't reply to all of them, but if you sent me something via email, I do read it. But as you can imagine, if I do get a busy day and there's 100 of them, a lot of them I don't reply to. I might just say thanks. I might not reply. I know I'm behind on that, behind on everything actually. But that's another explanation for why this video is not what I originally intended. It is more a roundup of things that my mind has been on. My mind's been on a lot of things with Jay Slater, and these are just a few of them. Let me start with the Saturday. I'm still halfway through this multi-series thing about Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The whole thing about when was Jay Slater's body actually found. I'm still stuck on Saturday because in the last 48 hours or so, there's been an exchange of ideas, information, opinions, and it's all to do with whether that TF436 road was closed or restricted to some traffic or totally open on the particular Saturday that some people claim Jay Slater's body was found. And when I say some people, in particular, we're talking about the expat guy who made that video and the likes of Chris Pennington and Ivor Lovelace and some others. But the problem here is, apart from these people, expat guy, Pennington, Lovelace, there's nothing out there that says with authority that the road leading up through Masca and beyond was ever closed or even restricted to traffic. And I do have a problem with this, meaning if that is the case, that the road was never closed. It was never restricted to any traffic. Anyone could drive along that road as they wanted to on that Saturday. We're talking specifically about Saturday, July 13th. Then the expat guy that stated all this, and he said it almost as an echo of what the accident group have said and Chris Pennington have said. If he's got that wrong, then logically you've got to say, well, did he get it wrong about the tip off to the Coast Guard? Did he get it wrong that anything was found on the Saturday? This is the problem here. And hats off to Tulip Amsterdam. Of the people that follow me and comment regularly, there's a hardcore there. Thunder Wren, Tulip Amsterdam, Sally Titanic, and a few others, sorry if I missed your name out, have been thrashing this around. And I believe it was Tulip Amsterdam found that when there's a limitation, or what's called in Spanish a control, yeah, there's like Guardia Civil and they're checking who's allowed to go up this road and who isn't. You know, if you can show evidence you're a resident up there, then off you go. You can drive up the road. If you can't, you're not allowed up there. And Tulip Amsterdam said that she'd found online that in those situations, it is the cabildo, it's like the local government authority, will put out there on social media that that is the case. And of course, that makes perfect sense. It is very hard to imagine that the police are going to impose restrictions on a certain road and not tell anyone. Now, the thing I added the other day, I don't know if I added this in a post or in a video, I can't remember. Maybe it's just a comment. But having been boots on the ground in Santiago del Teide, when you're going through, which is a pretty small place. I think Masca's small. I think Santiago's small. Masca's really tiny, but they're both small. So when you're going through Santiago and you turn left, and you're coming from the south, and you're heading north, and you turn left to go on that TF436 road through Masca, and it goes up to Buena Vista del Norte. It's a tight turn. It's a small road, and then it immediately becomes, it goes up and it becomes twisty turny. So, from a practical standpoint, if the Guardia Civil are going to have officers that are controlling, they are verifying, doing all that work for every single car that turns left on that small road to go to Masca, it would be the most hideous ordeal. And I pointed out in the comment I made that if you have deviation, if you have um, in English, what is it? Deviation? No, diversion. If you have a road diversion, that's, that's completely different. That's no problem. I mean, all cars follow the same road. You don't need anyone to control that. You're not going to have cars turning around. And this is what I find difficult to imagine. Now, I may be wrong. I know that there have been cases in whatever, if there's perhaps a forest fire or some extreme weather event, whatever it is, there may well have been occasions where Guardia Civil have had to impose limitations on that road. I get that. But I'm just saying it is not an easy thing to pull off, especially June. I mean, you've got a lot of people, a lot of tourism, a lot of traffic. And what are you doing? You're telling 50% to turn around? That tiny road's not easy to turn around. But I mean, you'd say, turn around, go back. No, you can go through. No, you have to turn around now. You're okay, you can go through. It, it just doesn't make that much sense to me. So I know a lot of people disagree, and they're kind of married to this idea that there were restrictions on that road. I don't think so until I see something definitive from an authority that is believable, and I'm not counting this expat watersport guy as believable. I don't say he's disbelievable. I'm just saying it's not entirely believable. Luggy and Chris not believable at all. I think that road was open, and I think Chris, Luggy, watersports guy either lied about it or got it wrong because they want us to think a body was found on Saturday. Now, on the other hand, there were areas in that Teno National Park and up that road that were closed, not the road itself. But it would make sense to me, for example, that the Masca hiking trail was closed if that were an area where Guardia Civil were operating. I don't know. I mean, they said they called the search off, but then they said they didn't. If there, especially if there's a dog team out there, you don't want people hiking around distracting you from the dogs. Now that said, in the Barranco Juan Lopez, there ain't a lot of hikers up there. It's just not a place that you can hike very easily. So I wouldn't imagine that any searching going on there would be disturbed by anyone. But it may be that, for example, the Masca Trail and one or two others were closed on that weekend. It's possible. The Masca Trail for a long time has relied on a booking system and it is an expensive thing to do. So, in that sense, there has been for quite some time restrictions on the number of people that can go up to hike the Masca Trail. Yeah, of course. So, if you really want to stretch it and say, well, yeah, there were restrictions on, non residents going up there. If we're talking about hiking on that particular trail, yeah, I guess that's a restriction. The amount of money you have to pay, and you have to have a booking to do it. You can't just drive up this road and think you're going to hike this path. But overall, I would say for me, Saturday was not the day, I'm going to say it, Saturday was not the day that a body was found or a body was dumped. I think for, this is just my own feeling, I think for Chris Pennington and Adrian and Ivor in Wales, I think the Saturday was what Chris told us it was. He said it. It's a recce. It's a recce, I think, for Sunday. Everything on Saturday in my book was to plan for Sunday. So you can tell where I'm going with this. When I eventually get around to part 7 of this series, I'll almost be saying that Sunday was the day when it happened. Yeah, I think it was a recce. Reconnaissance. Chris went down there, I think, to check out how easy or difficult it is to get down there, how many people are hiking or hanging around down there? How difficult or easy would it be to move something down there? How difficult or easy would it be to come up from the other side, the beach side? Um, and by the way, we don't know what else happened on that Saturday. It's all very well Chris showing us that he's walking down the hiking trail on the right hand side of the ravine. It's all very well Adrian reviving him with water as he's flaked out. But we don't know if anything's happening on the other end. So it could be simultaneously that someone in a boat, oh, I don't know. Do we know of any seaman extraordinaire involved in this story? Maybe someone from the other end in a boat was also trying to see if hammerhead sharks are actually off the coast there. And how easy or how difficult is it to bring a boat ashore there and walk up the ravine from the beach side? We don't know that. But if this were what I would call a full team recce, then it could well be that you got Chris and Adrian coming down from the land side, finding out all this good information in preparation for Sunday, and then coming up from the boat side and the beach side, someone else, seaman extraordinaire, seeing what it's like to go up from that end. And we just obviously never got a film of that. Why would we? I just want to throw that out there as an option. That Saturday is the reconnaissance day. There was no road closed. There was no road under restrictions. That was fed to us. And you know, I don't think there was a tip to the Coast Guard either. If there was a tip to the Coast Guard, I can't figure out who would have done it, and I can't figure out why it was anonymous. And by the same token, if a body was found on Saturday and the expat guy told us it was Saturday morning, um, then I really don't understand the Guardia Civil's decision to wait 48 hours because they told us on Monday morning, Monday lunchtime, that Jay's body had been found. I really don't see why the 48-hour wait there. To what benefit is it to the Guardia Civil? They found the body on the Saturday morning, but will wait till Monday to tell anyone. To me, that's a bit odd too. I mean, the whole thing is very, very odd. I know that. So that's where I am with Saturday. But let me issue this caveat. I am still open to any one big change to that theory just because we're going off the word of different people and just because we have an absence of information or evidence, and that is no public announcement from the Cabildo, from the Ayuntamiento, no Facebook page that says for July 13th, this road has been restricted to general traffic. Let me move on to the Brandon story. Brandon, as in the local guy, Brandon, not Brandon, Brandon from Buenavista del Norte, who was reported missing and then his body was found. And initially, when I told you about this, maybe 2 days ago, yeah, because I didn't do a video yesterday, 2 days ago, he was found on the Wednesday, and very quick on the ball here, I brought you the story and I said, hey, can you believe it? A guy called Brandon or Brandon was found dead in a ravine. Now, there's been an update, and I want to go through the whole article because it's Canarian Weekly, it's in English, so you should all understand it. Well, you should all understand it, Luggy. I don't know, should be able to get through as I read it through in English. The initial report I read out early doors mentioned Guardia Civil saying it looked like a precipitación voluntaria, which is more or less a suicide jump. That's changed. That's changed. It's now changed to open investigation. We're not sure what's going on here. But you got to understand, I do find this a little bit eerie. It's in the Tainor area, not the Tainor National Park area where Jay Slater's body was found, not in that Masca Barranco de Juan Lopez area, but not that far away. As you follow that same road up to the far corner, northwest corner of Tenerife, then you have an area where there is a road closed off to general traffic, funnily enough. And in a ravine there, this body was found. So the similarities, it's in the Tainor area. It's in that general area of northwest Tenerife. Yeah. It's a single male, 26 years old, young, single male. Body found in a ravine. Um, Looks like he plunged to his death, but investigation ongoing. Brandon is the name, but he's a local guy, Brandon, from Buena Vista del Norte. The long and the short of it is we have yet another young male body dead in a ravine in the same kind of corner of Tenerife. What is going on here? This isn't normal. I mean, if we have a group of people that say every single young male found dead at the bottom of a ravine in this corner of the island is purely coincidental and must be an accident every single time, I'm going to just say no. No, I mean, the chances of that happening as we get more and more cases like this becomes ever more remote. It goes from 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1,000,000. No, there's something else going on here. Without any more ado, let me try to find the Canarian Weekly. There it is. The body of a 26-year-old man who had been reported missing has been found in a ravine on the road to Punta de Teno, one of Tenerife's most spectacular and remote coastal areas in the northwest of the island. This is from the Canarian Weekly, by the way. I will put a link in the description to the video. The Guardia Civil located the young man's body on Tuesday in a difficult-to-access area alongside the TF445 road to Punta de Teno in the municipality of Buena Vista del Norte. According to reports from Televisión Canaria, the body was discovered in a ravine situated between two of the rock tunnels on the road, tunnels again, prompting a major recovery operation involving emergency teams on the ground and a rescue helicopter. The victim, who was from the town of Buena Vista del Norte, had been missing since the early hours of the morning. His family raised the alarm after becoming concerned when they were unable to contact him, leading to a search in the area. Again, let me point out the early hours of the morning. Not sure exactly when that is, but early hours of the morning. It is what I call the tiempo fatal. It is that fatal time. Someone goes missing at 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I'm sorry, the chances of this not coming out as a, happy ending goes way, way up there. Early hours. This guy Brandon goes missing. Major rescue operation. It says, due to the difficult terrain where the body was located, several emergency services were involved in the operation. Officers from the Guardia Civil and the local police, together with a specialist mountain rescue team and a helicopter, took part in recovering the body from the ravine. Actually, you could cut and paste that and stick that in the Jay Slater story. It would be exactly the same. Let me read it again. I mean, this is carbon copy. Officers from the Guardia Civil and the local police, together with a specialist mountain rescue team and a helicopter, took part in recovering the body from the ravine. Members of the young man's family remained at the scene during the afternoon as the operation continued. Specialist psychological support was provided to relatives at the scene by professionals from the Official College of Psychologists of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Investigation into cause of death. An investigation remains open to establish the circumstances surrounding the man's death. His body will undergo a post-mortem examination at the Institute of Legal Medicine, IML, to determine the exact cause of death. Yeah, but will we ever hear what the exact cause of death is? This is what happens, it seems, in Tenerife. You get this initial report, and then we don't get any clarification later on. No further details regarding the circumstances have been officially confirmed at this stage. I'm just going back. I don't want to be kind of morbid sense of humor here, but it says Official College of Psychologists have someone on hand to help the relatives of this poor kid that died. I mean, compare that to what Debbie Duncan had. Debbie Duncan had Rach the snake putting her arm around her, as comfort. And at least if you're a local, you get someone from the Official College of Psychologists to give you some support. Now, something else I noticed looking through Canarian Weekly here was some of the other headlines. And I haven't had a chance, I must say, to look into them. If I can find some of the alarming headlines. Oh, there's one. National police officer suspended for failing to stop friends taking cocaine. It's never a good headline. Like I say, if we read it, we're going to find another Canarian police officer that's involved in the cocaine narco taking thing. National police officer suspended for failing to stop friends taking cocaine. Okay. 23-year-old dies after being stabbed in Fuerteventura. Sorry to read that out if you're just about to fly off to Fuerteventura for a holiday. Um, what else did I see? God, so much to read in the free time I don't have. Two fugitives facing 20 years in jail, arrested in Tenerife. Like I say, I haven't read it. I have no idea if the last name Pennington appears in that article. What else have I seen here? Fake police gang kidnap victim and steal cryptocurrency in the Canary Islands. Oh, hello, cryptocurrency. Are you back doing his Bitcoin thing? Fake police gang, kidnap victim and steal cryptocurrency in the Canary Islands. Where is Toll to do a whole Tenerife video on the stuff, the shite that's going on there? I don't know. But anyway, there's the Brandon story for you. Let me check that off the list of updates. Wanted to comment on AI. Um, it is abundantly clear to me that using AI to find out an answer that you want or to analyze something you want is a very hazardous venture. And I say that because it's obvious to me anyway. You can get pretty much any answer you want from AI depending on what you input into the question. And especially if you just make a statement and then say analyze, what comes up is, I mean, it's something that will almost echo what you wanted to say without actually saying it. Um, Now, the reason I mention all this is because the accident group in particular have turned to AI to find whatever answers they want. But it appears to me that they're not being totally transparent about exactly what they're typing in to get the answer they want. So today, just as an experiment, what did I type in? Something about should one be concerned if a man that was given a 2-year prison sentence posts a picture of himself with a child's doll strapped to his crotch area? Something like that. Yeah, just to see what AI comes analyze or something like that. And of course, it comes back, yes, there are red flags aplenty here, and this is an area of concern, and, you should investigate more. What was the 2-year jail sentence for? But all of that goes to show you, if I'm just saying, for example, someone like Thomas Wilson, if I wanted to get a negative answer and align it with Thomas Wilson, I can do that any day of the week. I just know, I just experiment, I just, fish around with a few words, put it into AI, it will give me the answer that I pretty much want. And this is what we see very much in the AG world, but other people do it too. I haven't done this, but for Laurie, for example, if I say, assess the intelligence of a woman that takes a lit candle to bed covered by an eiderdown feather quilt, I'm pretty sure the AI response is going to say, whatever fool does this has a very low IQ and intelligence of a squirrel or something like that, you know? So I'm just saying, if I wanted to depict someone like Laurie in the most negative light possible and say, well, look, AI says it, so it must be true, it's easy to do. It's so easy to do. Don't get fooled by it. But on the other hand, I think AI is very useful if you have certain facts you want to put in there to establish another fact. I think it can be just fine. Use it with care, but notice, my main message is notice how the AG resort to it, either because they don't have the knowledge or they can't get the top context and nuance right. So they just have to shove in literal words that will produce an answer that they've always wanted. That's what I've noticed, and that's what I am very, very wary of. Um, Now then, I will end it there. I might do another one later, depending on what happens tonight. Um, the other things I was going to comment were on doxing and putting up pictures of people's houses. What's the point in doing that? It depends on the situation. Uh, And I was going to comment on that Chet Sandu, the guy that was in prison in Spain for narco activity. I posted it. I tell you what, before I comment on that, Go ahead and watch it, listen to it, because it is very rare that we have someone actually experience over a long period of time with, in Spain in particular, this narco dealing and wheeling and dealing and business and what have you. And this guy made this video. And like I say, he's been imprisoned in Spain. He knows about the Moroccan gangs. He knows pretty much what goes on in that world, as opposed to the AG wafflers that keep telling us we don't know what we're talking about. But this guy, and the video was made before Jay Slater's body was found, it's pretty clear that this is what happens when the Moroccans want to make an example of you, want to make some money of you. They want to, you know, recoup what they've lost, plus a lot more. It is worth watching. Now, thanks again to Tulip Amsterdam. It was a TikTok video. If you go to my community post, you'll now see there is a link to the original TikTok video and to what Tulip Amsterdam has put out there on YouTube. So there's now no excuse for not seeing this video of the ex con. He's got a Geordie accent, so well, I was going to say, so you should be able to understand him. Depends. But yeah, he speaks clear enough, and yeah, insightful stuff. So I will comment on it on a subsequent video. Let's leave it there. I will say, don't know when, but hasta la vista, hasta la próxima. See you next time. Adios. Happy weekend.